Welcome back, everyone. We're having our second session for Coach U Day One. We're welcoming Jen Ferby to our group here today. Jen's going to be talking about the attributes of a strong leader. Thank you so much for being with us today, Jen. We're very happy to have you. Jennifer has worked in the industry for 22 years, starting at Answer Plus as a CSR while attending school for social work. Once she graduated from school and was out of the field looking for a job, she was offered a supervisor role, then went from supervisor to operations manager and then director of operations, where she's been there for just over 10 years now. When she's not working, you can find her volunteering at Challenger Baseball, handing out food at the homeless shelters, playing baseball herself or darts, spending time with her family and her niece and nephew, and attending local sporting events. She's passionate about making a difference and loves to coach and share stories, hoping to inspire people and change. Take it away, Jen. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, I'm excited to be here, guys. I want to make this session as interactive as possible, so I'm going to be relying on you to participate. I'll try not to pick on people, but if you want to step in and jump in at any point in time, please feel free to. So today's session, I want to discuss leadership attributes, the different styles, and some of the practical strategies. I want you to be able to have some takeaways today. Can I get a show of hands? I don't see everyone's camera on, but even if you just hit the react button here, have you ever had a leader that has inspired you? Okay, I see two hands, three hands, four hands, five hands, six, seven. Excellent. Okay. So I think that's key because once you have experience, that will help you with everything and encourage you. And I'm going to get you guys to share some stories of that as well throughout this presentation. So, you guys can see my screen, yeah. So what is a leader? So there's three components of what a good leader is. So a leader is someone who guides, motivates, influences others towards a common goal or vision. It's not just about authority or power, it's about inspiring and empowering others to reach their full potential. So you'll see here at the top of this triangle here. So a leader is someone who inspires passion and motivation in its followers. It's important to inspire as a leader and have the ability to ignite a passion and an enthusiasm in your team members. You can do this by effective communication, empathy, and leading by example in inspiring others. Can anyone share an example where somebody has inspired you and done so in your life? Show of hands, anybody? Yazzer, I'm going to pick on you because I know you.
I probably have to say my dad, if I can say
Okay.
that. I guess I mean he is
Yep.
in my eyes he's a leader. Whenever whenever I need help with anything, he's always there. I remember once I was on the road and my car broke down, and I didn't really have the first person I usually reach out to is my sister, but I think she was working at the time, and my dad is usually he's busy too during the day, but I don't know that day I just really needed help and he showed up, so he's someone that I look forward to a lot.
Excellent. And so how does he inspire you or motivate you? Can you give me an
Uh,
example?
he's a really hard worker. He's an immigrant. He worked really hard when he came here. He uh, he pretty much set the foundation for who I am today. I feel like I just get inspired whenever I look at him working hard. Even now, he's a little older now, but I don't see him giving up whenever he does anything.
Okay, excellent. Anybody else have an example to share of somebody who is a leader in your life that has inspired you or motive and shows motivation?
Well, I would have something
Oh,
to
go ahead,
say.
Audrey. Yep.
So I would say my grandpa, he's a very hard worker. Currently, he's sick, but he always like showed us how to do things in life. Like it could be a car things, it could be how to buy a house. Like every little details in life that we need to know, he teached it us to me and my sister, and he built like a little empire. Like he well, how to say, well, he built a house and now it's ours today, and I'm very grateful for that. And he left us like very good memories. He's still there, but it's very difficult to see him now because of the sickness. But I cherish those moments we had with him.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, so going back to that inspiring, so it sounds like he's inspired you from you've watched him be here, build things, start things from scratch, work really hard. So he's inspired you to do that and motivated you. Does anybody else have any other examples about inspiring or motivation?
I
Go
think
ahead,
that I
Ryan.
would. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
so sorry, Brooke. You can
No,
go ahead,
that's right.
Brooke.
Okay. I was just going to go ahead and say my dad too, he had a traumatic brain injury like 9 years ago, and they didn't think he'd be able to like talk or walk or do anything again. And now he lives mostly a normal life, being able to do all those things. So just the courage and strength it took to kind of make it through those things, I know, and like my whole family and my mom, I know I can like get through hard things based on the fact that he was able to do something like that. So I kind of always take that in the back of my head when I'm kind of going through something hard.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing, Brooke. Ryan, go ahead.
I was going to say, our Intercon's former CEO, Pat, if anyone knows
Okay, yep.
her, when I first started at Intercon, we had, some of you know, we had an evacuation that took us all out of our in-house office, and we ended up going to Edmonton. And Pat was there with us every step of the way. It had been a long time since she had been on phones, but whatever we needed, she was there to help. She was willing to take anything if we needed time to deal with things. She was there. She made sure we were all had accommodations and everything we needed so that we could succeed. Even if she wasn't physically like, able to do what we were doing, she was always there to help us.
Awesome. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that, Ryan. Anyone else before we go on? No? Okay. So the second point here is that a leader is someone with a vision and the path to realizing it. So someone who guides the team forward towards a desired future state. They have a vision and they provide a roadmap. So they make it very clear and set that clarity for you of that roadmap of what needs to be done and how to achieve it. So can you think of any, maybe a manager or a supervisor that you've worked with over the years that has been able to, properly articulate and communicate the vision or a goal of some sort and helped you achieve that?
I have one. So our current ops manager right now, I've brought up some issues with our current team that the agents have mentioned not feeling trained enough for the beginners level, as in like we're not giving enough example, and there's a lot of accounts in those lower level modules for them, and they felt ill-equipped to face what they had to face. And so I mentioned that to our ops manager, Mia, and she came back not too long after that with a clear vision of redoing the whole training and really making subcategories for each of the like levels that we have for the
Okay.
calls and all that. So it was really nice to have a leader that, first of all, heard what I had to say and then took that into account and made a plan for us to kind of tackle that issue together and just make everyone else better equipped, basically. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicholas, for sharing. Anybody else have an example?
I have one I can share.
Excellent.
So my boss, Preston, the operations manager, he we were having some issues with coachings for a little bit and how we produce them. So he took some time and came up with a really well-written coaching SOP, and we helped that we implemented that and started using it for all of our agents, and our quality has gone up considerably ever since then. So it's been a very nice path, and he put it together for us. So.
Awesome. That's a great example of like, being able to articulate that roadmap with the SOPs. So thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Okay. And then the last one here, so is a leader is someone who ensures their team has support and the tools to achieve their goals. So effective leaders prioritize the well-being of the development of their team members. So I'd say all of you have that great leader where you work because they have, sent you guys to coach you with Camex so that they can help develop your skills. And they could provide supports such as offering different resources, training, mentorship, or just even a supportive work environment. Can anybody share an example of where you've had a leader that has been able to do this through support or different tools to help you achieve your goal?
Yes. Well, at our company, I-24, there's always like people ensuring that you have the training that you need to have. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to them without being shy. I always feel like my questions like are not mocked, like in a way, I
Right?
can always bring them out and I can get the answer very quickly. And if I need more training or more explanations, I get it. So it's very nice. Also, there's a few surveys that I-24 made us take, and if there's anything, we can answer the survey. And it's nice also to have that to express our feelings and our questions.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? No? Okay. I remember a leader that's had the most impact on me is Paul Lloyd, who was the one of the owners of Answer Plus here. And one of the things when I first started in ops manager, he would set me up and give me the tools that I needed to do my job. But he always said, and reminded me that I was going to make a lot of mistakes as a leader, and he had made many mistakes in his career too. But it's learning from it as well and taking from it. So that was one of the things that I always knew that I was going to be supported no matter what if I made a mistake, and he was going to help me develop and grow. And I was always going to be learning, and that was okay because no one goes into these roles, knowing everything and being perfect. So that stands out, and that's something that I've cherished from that experience. So I've come across this quote that I like to share, and I'll go into it. But if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. So inspiring others to dream more, that you can do that by encouraging creativity, innovation, and vision among your team members. Inspiring others to learn more, you're fostering a culture of continuous learning and personal development. Inspiring others to do more, you're motivating individuals to take action, overcome challenges, and achieve their goals. Inspiring others to become more is empowering individuals to grow, evolve, and to reach their full potential. And a strong leader goes beyond simply giving orders or delegating tasks. They inspire transformation and growth in others. Does this resonate with everyone, or any thoughts on this quote? Okay. All right. So I'm going to share a video and then we're going to talk about the video here. So I have to do this differently. I have to do it through YouTube. So if I can just get a show of hands to make sure that everyone can hear it and it's working. And one moment.
Do you love your wife? Yes. Prove it. Like, what's the metric? Give me the number that helps me know, right? Because when you met her, you didn't love her. Now you love her, right? Tell me the day the love happened. It's an impossible question. But it's not that it doesn't exist, it's that it's much easier to prove over time, right? Leadership is the same thing. It's about transition. So if you were to go to the gym, it's like exercise, right? If you go to the gym and you work out and you come back and you look in the mirror, you will see nothing. And if you go to the gym the next day and you come back and you look in the mirror, you will see nothing, right? So clearly there's no results, can't be measured, it must not be effective. So we quit, right? Or if you fundamentally believe that this is the right course of action and you stick with it, like in a relationship, I bought her flowers and I wished her happy birthday, and she doesn't love me. Clearly I'll give up. That's not what happens. If you believe there's something there, you commit yourself to an act of service. You commit yourself to the regime, the exercise. You can screw it up. You can eat chocolate cake one day. You can skip a day or two. You know, it allows for that. But if you stick with it consistently, I'm not exactly sure what day, but I know you'll start getting into shape. I know it. And the same with the relationship. It's not about the events. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency, right? You go to the dentist twice a year, your teeth will fall out. You have to brush your teeth every day for 2 minutes. What does brushing your teeth twice a day for 2 minutes do? Nothing. Unless you do it every day, twice a day for 2 minutes. Right? It's the consistency. Going to the gym for 9 hours does not get you into shape. Working out every day for 20 minutes gets you into shape. So the problem is we treat leadership with intensity. We have a 2-day offsite, we invite a bunch of speakers, we give everybody a certificate. You're a leader, right? Those things are like going to the dentist. They're very important. They're good for reminding us or getting us back on track, learning new lessons. But it's the daily practice of all the monotonous, little, boring things like brushing your teeth that matter the most. She didn't fall in love with you because you remembered her birthday and bought her flowers on Valentine's Day. She fell in love with you because when you woke up in the morning, you said good morning to her before you checked your phone. She fell in love with you because when you went to the fridge to get yourself a drink, you got her one without even asking. She fell in love with you because when you had an amazing day at work and she came home and she had a terrible day at work, you didn't say, yeah, but let me tell you about my day. You sat and listened to her awful day and you didn't say a thing about your amazing day. This is why she fell in love with you. I can't tell you exactly what day, and it was no particular thing you did. It was the accumulation of all of those little things that she woke up one day and as if she pressed a button, she goes, I love him, right? Leadership is exactly the same. There's no event. There's no thing I can tell you you have to do that your people will trust you. It just doesn't work that way. It's an accumulation of lots and lots of little things that anyone by themselves is innocuous and useless. Literally, pointless by themselves. People will look at little things that are good leadership practices and say, that won't work. And you're absolutely right. But if you do it consistently, and you do it in combination with lots of other little things, like saying good morning to someone, that looking them in the eye. My friend George, who's a 3-star general in the Marine Corps, he says his test for leadership, and I love this, he goes, his test for a good leader is if you ask somebody how their day is going, you actually care about the answer. The number of times we're walking to a meeting, we're rushing, we go, how are you? Not good, I got to get to you later, I'm late for a meeting. Right. If you ask the question, you are standing there and you're listening to the answer. It's those little innocuous things that you do over and over and over and over that people will say, I love my job. Not I like my job. I like my job means, yeah, the challenge is great, they pay me well, I like the people. I love my job means, I don't want to work anywhere else. I don't care how much somebody else is willing to pay me. I'm devoted to the people here, and I care desperately about the people here as if they were my family. In business, we have colleagues and coworkers. In the military, they have brothers and sisters. That's how they think of each other. If you really have a strong corporate culture, the people will think of each other like brothers and sisters. It's like a family, right? No, brothers and sisters. Deep love. Fight, but the love doesn't go away. Bicker, the love doesn't go away. And I'll fight with my sister, but if you threaten my sister, you're going to have to deal with me. Right? We'll fight internally, we'll bicker with each other, but nobody's going to hurt each other. And if anything from the outside shows up, you're looking at a unified front. Brothers and sisters. Now, how do you create brothers and sisters out of strangers? Common beliefs, common values. You know, parents, in other words, executives who care about their children's success, who care to raise their children, teach them skills, discipline them when necessary, help them build their self-confidence so that they can go on and achieve something more than you could have ever imagined achieving for yourself. That's leadership.
This thing called planning has been around for a long, long time. Well, people.
Sorry about that. I was trying to find my unmute button here. 3 screens. What's everybody's take on that, or what resonated with you in regards to leadership?
Well, that leadership doesn't appear overnight.
Mm-hmm.
It's the consistency that matters the most. So it's
Right.
built over time, and it's the little thing that matters the most, like saying hello to someone or making wise choices.
Right. Right. Excellent. Anybody else? You had to take something from it, guys. Something resonated. I saw heads shaking and people smiling at certain things. So,
When he said about when someone asks you how you're doing and they just walk
right,
away, that was like that's happened so many times
right,
to people where they're just like, "How you doing? Okay, yeah, okay, thanks. Okay, that's great. I gotta go."
right.
So to actually to sit there and actually listen to someone and actually care that you actually care what how their day is going or what they're doing or what's happening. So
Absolutely. That one there, Sue, resonated with me probably the very first time that I watched this too, because you would see it all the time. There was, especially when we were in the office, we're 90% remote now, but people would be running to the washroom and pass you and like, oh, hey, how's it going? I'm sorry, I can't really talk. I'm running to the washroom
hmm
meeting. And it doesn't feel genuine. Where when somebody takes the time to sit with you and ask you how your day is and really cares, and genuinely, and it's not like they're just checking it off a checkbox because they have to do it, that goes a long way and that makes people want to work for you, right? So
most definitely.
excellent. Thank you for sharing that, Sue.
Of course.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Ryan.
When he was talking about his sister there, it's the leadership. When you're a leader, you'll go to bat for the people that really
Right.
matter. And there is that different capacity where people will think that they can treat people a certain way because of how you do it. They don't understand the inside joke, which is how you can get someone in a company can end up being the target of harassment or something because of how it's been treated, not understanding the dynamic that's going on. So that being able to stand up to the people that even if it's someone that you respect, if they're going after someone else that you care about, you need to be able to stand up and make yourself heard.
Right. I'm sure I know a number of the companies that are here today, and so I have met the owners and some of the managers, and I know that company culture is something that's huge. So that resonates too, because we talk about all the time in our organization that, we're like a big family. And so brothers and sisters, family members, we have disagreements and there's things that we don't always agree to and so forth. But, it's being able to be respectful and have those conversations and go to bat for one another as well, like he said. So thank you for sharing that, Ryan. Anyone else have any other takeaways that's a little bit different?
So I appreciated how he tied it to your relationship. If
Okay.
you're in a serious relationship, it's the consistency. It's the you're constantly showing up without being asked.
Right.
Um, that I have seen in our culture with our company has made a difference. We've had some changes with our leadership, and our leadership now is really showing up for our team, and we're seeing the fruits of those labors being reaped and the kind of agents that we have because they know that their leaders are showing up for them, and that consistency that I'm going to go to bat for you is proving to be very successful. So I think my whole team could probably resonate with that as well.
Excellent. I love that. I love that. Anybody else? No? Okay. In the chat, if you guys can each just start typing what you think, just words of, what would describe a good, successful leader. Supportive, understanding, patient, understanding, present, reliable, someone who listens, someone the team can trust. There we go. Kindness, supportive, leads by example. Someone that leads with positivity, knows what to do under pressure, consistent, attentive, approachable, encouraging, kind, patient, presence, empathy, understanding. So there's some key words that we're, sending out here. So somebody who listens, somebody who leads with integrity and leads by example, who's encouraging, motivating, someone who's approachable, someone you can trust. So those are all great words. Oh, so Okay. So in this graph or in this chart here, so a good leader, so recognition. So I don't know if I saw that. So somebody who recognizes their people, but somebody who inspires, who has clear communication, supports the team, it creates vision, expects the best from their team, so sets that bar high. Someone who sets a good example, so leading by example, you guys had said, communicating clear goals, encouraging your team, motivating, empowering. Somebody with integrity, you guys talked about, someone who creates stimulating work and focuses on team and the interests and needs of the team. So it sounds like you all inspire others, not control. I love that one, Audrey. So these are all really good. So you guys know what it takes to be a good leader or what you see as a good leader. So these people who show up like this inspire you to be the type of leader that you want to be. So there's 6 ways to succeed as a leader, and we'll go through each one of them. So there's inspiring commitment, and how you do this is recognize others' achievements and motivate employees. This can be done by fostering dedication, loyal and enthusiasm towards shared goals. Communication is communicating that vision and that purpose that resonates with its employees' values and aspirations. Leading by example also demonstrates, that's the next one here, where you can delegate effectively, act with kindness, and you can lead by example and demonstrate dedication, integrity, and passion for the organization's mission. Then there is, recognizing and celebrating an individual and team's achievement to reinforce a culture of appreciation and motivation. Emphasize the importance of building trust in your team and fostering open communication to cultivate a sense of commitment among others. And then, sorry, I went a little ahead of myself there with the leading by example. So leading by example, you can do this by setting clear expectations and goals to guide the employees with efforts and performance. You can do this by providing support and guidance and resources to help employees succeed in their roles, and just empowering them by delegating authority and encouraging autonomy and decision making. We talk about sometimes a good leader, or you have those leaders that have taught you how to, I mess up the saying every time, but they'll teach you how to fish so that you can feed yourself versus just always going and finding that fish for you or gathering that fish. So being able to delegate effectively as well so that they can, if you think back to some of your leaders, if we know some of the things, and you probably know as a leader, but think about it when a CSR is asking you a question and you could just answer that question and make it very easy for them. But if you are asking them and encouraging and inspiring them to make those decisions, that's going to go a long way. Then acting with fairness. So a good leader always acts with fairness. I had a manager one time tell me that you may not like everyone you work with, but they should never know that, right? So always treating everybody with fairness. So strategic planning, so translating a vision into reality. You can do this by setting smart goals with your team, developing action plans or strategic objectives, and then monitoring that progress as well. So plan for the long term. And then change management. So there's always change that you're going to have to manage as a leader. So it could be facilitating organizational adaptation. So sometimes the example that I always think back to is, and some of you may have been using this forever and some it may be new to you, is when we first went to auto connect in our system. So where it beeps in your ear and the CSR's live. That was a huge change for our staff versus being able to physically hit a button. So we had to manage that change and help them through that. And some are more vocal and we're like, oh my God, I'm never going to do this. This is annoying. I can't mute. What if I'm sneezing or talking and all these different things? So being able to manage that change. Another one that we've gone through, and I know some of you guys are going through as well, is transitioning from Infinity or something merging into Genesis. The fear that's associated behind that for the staff and guiding them through that and helping them through that change. So providing guidance and encouragement. Just before this meeting, I went out and one of our team members was looking through the accounts and I walked out and she was like, I can't do this. And I was like, oh my God, okay, what's happening here? And they showed a more difficult account on Genesis, and I said, go back and we'll look at a very basic one. And then I came back from the washroom, and I was like, how was that? She's like, oh, that was much easier. Okay, maybe I can do this. So just being able to help and manage through that change is crucial as a leader. Employee development, so coaching to improve performance. So, that could be, making sure going back to those SMART goals that I think you may know about or you'll learn in the future, but being able to set those. And so you have a CSR who's failing in their evaluations. So what do they have to work on? Give them a little bit of a goal to work on and help them move forward and coach them to improve that performance. Provide them with guidance and encouragement, acknowledge and recognize and celebrate some of their successes. And then there's self-awareness. So being a good leader also comes with you knowing yourself and being self-aware as well. So recognizing your personal limits. There may be some things that you struggle with, like having a difficult conversation with somebody and going going to your leader or to your manager and asking them like, hey, can you help me with this? I'm not really good at this. Can we role play and practice this a little bit as well? So that sets you up for success. Maybe sitting in a meeting with your leader on having them have a difficult conversation with somebody and then them watching you do it as well so that they can provide you with that feedback. There are leaders out there too that are, not that raha, like let's celebrate and have fun in the office or remotely, but then there are other people that are. So knowing that and being able to rely on the people that maybe that's more of their passion than yourself, and how can you kind of work together with them? Self-reflecting on some of maybe the mistakes, like I said earlier in the presentation, is you're going to make mistakes and you're going to learn from them. When I first became a manager, I had a conversation, and I share this with everyone, but I had a conversation with a CSR, and she was, upset about a number of things, whether it be attendance policy or lateness, and the bonus plan she wasn't achieving, and she was just really disgruntled. And this is going back like, 18 years ago. And I was new to management, and I actually knew her personally because she was my cousin's friend. And so I sat down with her and I said, Amanda, if you're not happy here, then if you were my friend, I would suggest, go find another job. And she looked at me and was like, okay, kind of thrown back, didn't say anything in the heat of the moment. And then she went and reflected on that conversation. Within 24 hours, I had an email in my inbox telling me that, she felt like a number. She didn't feel valued or important because I was so willing to just give up and advise her to kind of move on. And I had to reflect on that conversation, thinking to myself, I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was trying to, put her first here as a person. And if she wasn't happy, we can't change some of these policies she wasn't happy with. But I had to learn from that and realize the impact that it had on that person. So admitting my mistakes, and I owned it, that conversation, and I learned from it, and I have those types of conversations with people a little bit more differently now. So being more self-aware as a leader will help you through that as well. There are also 6 different leadership styles. And leadership styles, they refer to the approach or behavior that a leader adopts when guiding and influencing their team members. So at some point, and we're going to talk about some examples here, but at some point, you may be very strong at one of these leadership styles, but depending on the scenario, you may have to kind of shift into one of the other leadership styles. So there's the commanding leadership style, and that's the, do what I tell you kind of thing, that's very authoritative and direct. And they really come down as a top-down approach where the leader is the person who makes the decisions and gives directives without seeking input from others. So they're clear and direct with their communication of expectations and instructions, but they're very authoritative in decision making and enforcement of rules and standards. They focus on the immediate results and efficiencies. And so what do you guys think of a scenario at work where this leadership style may work really well?
The military.
The military, yeah. Yeah. Any other examples?
When a decision has to be made quickly and needs to be dealt with right away.
Absolutely. So if there was like an emergency decision,
Yeah.
so think back to, COVID, and some of the leaders had to make some very quick decisions quickly, right? And we couldn't take into consideration everybody's feelings. Or, let's just say there's a disaster happening and it's causing an influx of calls. Sometimes you need that commanding leader to kind of step in and take charge and be like, okay, this is what we're doing, guys. So sometimes in emergency and when you need quick decisions, that's a good time to have that. So then there's the visionary leadership style. So that's the person that's like, come with me, follow me. I'm going to lead you down this path and I'm going to inspire you and motivate you. I'm going to articulate where we're going on the future. I'm going to communicate a clear and inspiring vision that aligns with the organization's values and goals. I'm going to encourage or innovate creativity and forward thinking among team members, empowering employees provide and sorry, to contribute to the realization of the vision. So when does this leadership style work? What do you think?
Like the beginning of your employment, I would say.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah. So
excellent.
it's
That's
always
an
nice to
excellent.
come into a nice environment where you're feeling supported. So
Right. So, and that's done right through probably orientation. So you're setting the vision of the company, the vision of that employee journey. I love that. So, what other ones? What other examples do you guys have?
When you're trying to build new products or new services, you're
Okay.
looking for innovation. So you want the creativity there.
Absolutely. I love that. I'm sure some of you are dealing or discussing AI and the impact that it's going to have on that business and rallying everyone together and getting them excited and seeing that vision of how it may impact us or how it can help us in the future. So that's another great example. Anybody else? Okay. I think it also helps with the whole Genesis conversion for those of you that are going to a different system or anything like that, right? You want to explain to them kind of where we're going, why we're going, and then get them to rally behind you throughout that change. So then there's the leader. That is the people come first. So they create a center on building positive relationships and fostering supportive and inclusive work environments. They emphasize on trust, collaboration, and teamwork. They focus on employee well-being and morale, open communication and empathy towards team members' needs and concerns. So when does this kind of work well and come into play?
I think healthcare would be one.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I think if we speak like from a perspective of a call center customer service, I would say maybe when the morale is low or after a stressful period, maybe when we had a lot of angry callers or
Right.
maybe just a lot of calls, that would be one that would fit, I think.
Yeah, that's a good one. Ryan?
I'd say the people comes first is when you're looking for longevity in a company. If you want people to stick around, you have to get them to create bonds within the company. You have to make them, again, like you had said, make them feel more than just a number. You have to get them to build bonds within the company. If they feel that they're just there to, especially in our industry where it can be very easy to be, oh, you're just answering phones. If you build
Right.
those links with people, you need to make them known. So if they're having a bad day, you need to be able to have that opportunity to let them go and do their own thing, get better so that they'll stick around longer.
Right. And I think Pat Voss did an excellent job at probably instilling that, and that's the type of leader she was at Intercon for sure. So that's great, great examples. Then we have the Democratic leader, who is the what do you think What do you think, leader? So they're constantly, trying to make shared decision makings, empowering the team members to participate in the decision making processes. They're inclusive. They are constantly asking for the input of their team members and valuing it and making sure that it's considered. Open communication channels and transparency in decision making. And they empower team members to take ownership of their work and contribute to the success of their team. So, what is, a good example where this leadership style comes into play?
I think the call center, like the answering service that we do, this is good for, especially when we take calls for thousands of accounts. Rather saying, what do you think you would do here? Trying to get them to learn it rather than just giving them the answer.
Right, right. Excellent. Any other example? Ryan?
So what do you think when you're looking for input on a situation? At our company, we often have situations where agents are consistently getting stuck on one account. So that's when you open up the floor. Okay, what can we do better here? Because the decisions that we're making at the top leadership is making is not working with the agent. There's a disconnect. So that's when you need to reach out and ask someone, well, how would this be better? What can we do? And you're not always going to be able to implement their solution, but getting that input from them can spark an idea.
Right. Excellent. I love that. We do that when, we have a trend with a customer that we're having issues with or CSRs are struggling with. And it's very easy for somebody up above to go, hey, this is how I think we should be doing it on the accounts. But then bringing in the people and having them own it and, suggest what needs to be changed or implemented is huge. Or having, we have weekly or monthly meetings where we look at an account and we bring in all key players, including the CSRs, to give some input on that as well. So that's great. Any other examples of that?
If
We
you,
have,
oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
go
Go ahead.
ahead. Lynn.
we have, when we're bringing on a new client, we have a few of our receptionists we'll give them the script
Perfect.
before they go live and tell them to break it. Go through it,
Right.
see what we need to improve, see how it's going to make your life easier, and just go through and break the script and tell us what we can do better.
Excellent. I love that. Sorry, there was another person. I didn't see who it was, but somebody else was trying to
Sorry,
talk.
it was me. I was just going to say, when an agent asks a question and you ask them, what do they think? And if they get it right or whatever, it gives them a sense of accomplishment and that they did it without having to go the extra. Like we're always there to help, obviously,
Right.
but if an agent does it on their own and figures it out on their own, it gives them a sense of accomplishment. I think that would make them feel better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think too, I don't know, sometimes like even when you have this CSR listen, because this resonated in what you just said, Sue, but having a CSR listen to their evaluations and giving feedback on it before you give feedback, sometimes that goes a long way as well and kind of fits into that. So then there's the pace setter leadership style. So this is somebody who's focused on setting high standards of performance and leading by example through personal excellence and achievement. They set clear and challenging goals and expectations for performance. They lead by example and demonstrate excellence in work ethic and performance and expectation of high levels of accountability and achievement from their team. So kind of do as I do now is the pace setter. Any examples of this one?
I think like during busy seasons when we need efficiency, but quality still, maybe like when launching new goals for the company or yeah, new goals or a special project, that would be like, I think, a good way to use this kind of leadership style.
Absolutely. Ryan?
I would say us in our industry, I think this is one that's just shown in the work culture where almost everyone that's in a leadership position or upper leadership position started out as a CSR, and that shows people where they can go. And that's really helpful, just showing you have a trainer that started out, they started answering phones and now they're a trainer, then they move on to something else. And that's really important just to have in the work culture to show that there is a place for you to go beyond just answering phones. There's a goal further ahead if you continue to work at it.
Right. Excellent. Hillary?
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yep.
Mine was pretty much like Ryan's, but it's basically just showing them that even though you are a supervisor or a leader, you can jump in the trenches with them. Like yesterday, I got on the phones, they sent out a help message. I jumped in as a CSR, and everyone was like, "Oh, Hillary's here to supervise." I'm like, "No, I'm with you guys on this one. I'm helping you guys with your calls." And they were all just like, "Wow, like you're here and you're helping us." And they were just like so appreciative of it. But just to show them that when times get tough, a leader person can you're not stuck in that position. You can go and help, and you can, I don't know, it's just like showing them that you're willing to, I guess, I don't know how to explain it. It's just showing them that you're willing to do whatever it takes to help and make their jobs easier as well, no matter if you're like putting yourself in a different role that you're not supposed to be in, kind of. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we can all kind of resonate with that one, where it's been like a snowstorm or there's been fires. And like Ryan said, when the fires happened and everybody had to evacuate the area and go stay in hotels, Pat was right there. The leadership team was right there jumping in and doing whatever they had to do to kind of assist, right? So that's great. The last one is, the coaching leadership style. So try this. So they're centered around supporting and developing their team members through mentorship, guidance, and feedback. They focus on individual development as well as group development and growth. They provide constructive feedback and support for skill development. They encourage learning, experimentation, and continuous improvement. So when does this style help?
I would say like when an agent struggles and needs guidance, like it could be for a specific account or just in general, looking for some tricks that we could give this person. Maybe also during performance reviews, if there was something that was a little off, we can help this person grow more into the company and using tricks that we can provide them, or with new hires also, we try to guide them a lot and verify if they need help also.
Okay, excellent. Jackie?
I was just going to say that I think this coaching one would help in every job.
Right.
Just some people may need more one-on-one coaching than others, and this is the way you're going to find out if that actually benefits them. And then it's more tailored to where they're struggling rather than where everyone else may be struggling. I just think it's more of a one-on-one approach.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. Anybody else? Hillary, I know you have your hand up, but I think that's from previous. Perfect. Okay. Excellent.
I find the coaching style to be very beneficial whenever you are dealing with someone in your downline who is not as receptive to criticism and just like very blunt. We all have those employees that they can take criticism very easily, and then we have some of those who are not as open to criticism. They see it as an affront and not the tool that it is. So using the coaching kind of allows them to partner and have a say in the feedback. And so they end up giving themselves their own like that own criticism. But you also like, hey, how about can we try it like this? Or what would you think if we tried it like this? Or, we approached it, or what are some phrases that we can use? What do you think? It partners a couple of the different styles, but it allows that feedback to be given to an agent or a supervisor who is not as open to direct criticism.
Right, right. You're absolutely right there. Yeah, that's excellent. I'm going to encourage you, because when we end the session, there's kind of a exercise that I want you to do, but I want you to think and reflect on, out of these 6 styles, what is the style that you feel you're very strong at? And then maybe what's a style that you kind of need to work on? So what you guys have given real life scenarios in the job that you are currently in where each one of these have had to come tuition at some points, right? So depending on the different situation or the team dynamics, we need to be able to alter as leaders. I'm going to go into sorry, I have to pull up the website. I have another video on understanding the why.
How do I know? A lot of people, when they think of the phrase, how do I know, they always want to put the what behind it. How do I know what I'm supposed to do? The question that you really should ask is, how do I know why I'm here? Because when you know your why, your what becomes more clear and more impactful. If you know, like for instance, people know that I do comedy, but that's what I do. My why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. So I can do comedy, I can write books, I can be in a movie, because all of it is motivated by my why. In fact, I have a new web series out called Michael Jr. Break Time. We probably just did the 6th episode. It's on YouTube. So every single Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode on YouTube of Michael Jr. Break Time. What it is it's me. I travel around the country and I do stand-up comedy, in case you didn't know. And in the middle of my comedy set sometime, I'll stop and just talk to my audience. And we've been filming this, and it's, you know, it's pretty cool. So we're in Winston-Salem. I'm gonna show you a clip from Winston-Salem. And I'm just talking to this guy in the audience, and he tells me that he's a musical instructor at a school. So I was like, all right, you're a musical instructor, you know, can you sing? Let me hear you sing a song. So this is what happened at the last episode of Michael Jr.'s Break Time. Check it. So you're a musical director? Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Wow. That bro could sing, you know what I'm saying? All right. Now, what you give me the version is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick, if you know which version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. Let me see what you got.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost, but now, right now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Okay, here's what I want you to catch. The first time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what becomes more impactful because you're walking towards or in your purpose.
So what stood out in that video, or did you take away from that? Nothing, no one?
Well, it's important to know why you're doing it, because or else you're not going to do it how it should be done, I think.
Right. Yep. Ashley?
I mean, if you just listen to his voice, it impacted his entire body.
Right.
Like having that why he was doing it was such a different feeling towards it.
Right.
And I mean, you can definitely put that towards anything. You know, why am I going to work? Am I doing it to just, is my purpose just for a paycheck, just for this, or is it I want to, you know, bring someone a little piece of joy, or be that person that answers that question. What more impact can we put towards those little decisions that we make every day?
Yeah, you nailed it there. This was captivating. It brought his entire self into the music by knowing the why. Absolutely. So everyone knows what they do and how they do it, but the most effective leaders and teams understand why they do it. So knowing your why brings that passion, that direction, and purpose to every routine task. When you lead with your why, others are inspired to follow, not because they have to, but because they want to. So in the chat, put down, why do you want to become a leader? Make a difference. Love it. To help those around me. Be the leader I didn't have. Motivate and help to inspire others, I think we were all looking for a purpose. It's up to us to make that purpose, to help others grow. Inspire just one person. I've made a difference in their lives. I want to become a leader to help my entire team succeed. I want to share the knowledge that I have taken over the last 38 years, give back to others, pass on the skills. Love it. Making a difference. And, we talk about it a lot in our organization, but that's in this industry and what we do and help as many people as we help. And, we always talk about being the silent heroes behind the phones in every call that we take. That's key. And you need leaders that want to inspire that. So, what drives you beyond a pay or a promotion? Put that in the chat there. What motivates you more than just a paycheck or a promotion? The work we do is meaningful and it does make a difference sometimes, small and sometimes large. My people and my team, when they do well, I do well. I love to see their achievements and what they accomplish, knowing that I am helping people succeed, helping people and my team to know I've helped with a company growth and success, being a source of support, to feel wanted by my peers and know that we are leading others to grow. These are great examples. And now that you've put it out there and you've written it down and you've thought about it, it's going to resonate and it's going to stay with you as well. So now let's think. So we've talked about your personal purpose, but let's think about your team's purpose. So why does your team exist? So is it, I'm not going to give you examples. I'm going to let you kind of figure this one out here. So why does your team exist? Helping other businesses succeed, to make callers feel valued, lead the next generation to success, ease after hours load of business owners and to ensure emergencies are handled quickly, to serve others. Excellent. To help callers feel heard, supported, and cared for during stressful moments. And what about how can you help your agents connect to their daily work, to that larger purpose? Show them they are valued, yeah. By teaching and coaching them to be the best that they can be, make them feel connected and valued by reminding them the impact they have on others. Excellent. I love that one, Tina. Truly taking the time to listen to them and help out wherever we can. Yeah. Compliment the strengths, showing the feedback we get back from our clients about how grateful they are for them. Absolutely. One of the things, so we answer for an oxygen company. And, as a CSR, you take the message, you gather the information, you dispatch it accordingly. And then we had one of the workers come in and share a story with us. And it was that, there was this family who had a baby. The baby was born with a lung defect, and they didn't think that the child was going to survive. The parents were given the opportunity to stay at the hospital or to take the child home and, keep the child as comfortable as possible. Throughout that time, they had to call this oxygen company numerous of times to have oxygen delivered to the house. They were frantic because maybe sometimes they were running low and they didn't know if they were going to have enough oxygen to get through the night, and were they going to have to rush this baby to the hospital or anything like that. Our CSRs took those calls, handled that distress call of that parent on the other side of the phone, dispatched it accordingly. This child is now 6 years of age and living a healthy life. That is the impact that these people, so they actually had a video that they showed us of the parents being like, I don't think you knew that this comforting voice on the other end of the phone, being calm, taking accurate information and getting this dispatched in a timely manner, what impact that had on our lives or my child's life. So we use that all the time when coaching. So, and I encourage you guys, when listening to calls, we help so many people, but how can you put that into perspective and make that resonate, and for the CSRs to feel value in what they do every day and understand the why of what they do? Because they guaranteed if you ask the question of, how I can inspire people, how I can help people, they probably have all the same purposes and very similar ones, and the reason why they do the job that they do, just like you guys do. When our team understands the why we do what we do, not just answering calls, but being the calm professional voice people rely on, it transforms our work from a task into a purpose. And that's when the real engagement begins. So I encourage you to, you've jotted it down here, but take away everything that why you want to be a leader, and showcase that in everything that you do while you're leading your people. And then when you're coaching them, explain to the team why their teamwork matters as well, and what they're doing matters. And then the last video here is a manager versus leader.
There are two things that I think that great leaders need to have: empathy and perspective. And I think these things are very often forgotten. Leaders are so often so concerned about their status or their position in an organization, they actually forget their real job. And the real job of a leader is not about being in charge, it's about taking care of those in our charge. And I don't think people realize this, and I don't think people train for this. When we're junior, our only responsibility is to be good at our jobs. That's all we really have to do. And some people actually go get advanced educations so that they can be really good at their jobs, accountants or whatever, right? And you show up and you work hard, and the company will give us tons and tons of training how to do our jobs. They'll show us how to use the software. They'll send us away for a few days to get trained in whatever it is that we're doing for the company. And then they expect us to go be good at our jobs. And that's what we do. We work very hard. And if you're good at your job, they'll promote you. And at some point, you'll get promoted to a position where we're now responsible for the people who do the job we used to do, but nobody shows us how to do that. And that's why we get managers and not leaders. Because the reason our managers are micromanaging us is because they actually do know how to do the job better than us. That's what got them promoted. Really what we have to do is go through a transition. Some people make it quickly, some people make it slowly, and unfortunately some people will never make that transition at all. Which is, we have to go through this transition of being responsible for the job and then turning into somebody who's now responsible for the people who are responsible for the job. And as I said before, one of the great things that is lacking in most of our companies is that they are not teaching us how to lead. And leadership is a skill like any other. It is a practicable, learnable skill. And it is something that you work on. It's like a muscle. If you practice it all the days, you will get good at it and you will become a strong leader. If you stop practicing, you will become a weak leader. Like parenting, everyone has the capacity to be a parent. Doesn't mean everybody wants to be a parent, and doesn't mean everybody should be a parent. Leadership is the same. We all have the capacity to be a leader. Doesn't mean everybody should be a leader, and it doesn't mean everybody wants to be a leader. And the reason is because it comes at great personal sacrifice. Remember, you're not in charge, you're responsible for those in your charge. That means things like when everything goes right, you have to give away all the credit. And when everything goes wrong, you have to take all the responsibility. That sucks, right? It's things like staying late to show somebody what to do. It's things like when something does actually break, when something goes wrong, instead of yelling and screaming and taking over, you say, try again. When the overwhelming pressures are not on them, the overwhelming pressures are on us. At the end of the day, great leaders are not responsible for the job. They're responsible for the people who are responsible for the job. They're not even responsible for the results. I love talking to CEOs and say, what's your priority? And they put their hands on their hips all proud and they say, my priority is my customer. I'm like, really? You haven't talked to a customer in 15 years. There's no CEO on the planet responsible for the customer. They're just not. They're responsible for the people who are responsible for the people who are responsible for the customer. I'll tell you a true story. A few months ago, I stayed at the Four Seasons in Las Vegas. It is a wonderful hotel. And the reason it's a wonderful hotel is not because of the fancy beds. Any hotel can go and buy a fancy bed. The reason it's a wonderful hotel is because of the people who work there. If you walk past somebody at the Four Seasons and they say hello to you, you get the feeling that they actually wanted to say hello to you. It's not that somebody told them that you have to say hello to all the customers, say hello to all the guests, right? You actually feel that they care. Now, in their lobby, they have a coffee stand. And one afternoon, I went to buy a cup of coffee, and there was a barista by the name of Noah who was serving me. Noah was fantastic. He was friendly and fun, and he was engaging with me, and I had so much fun buying a cup of coffee, I actually think I gave 100% tip, right? He was wonderful. So as is my nature, I asked Noah, do you like your job? And without skipping a beat, Noah says, I love my job. And so I followed up. I said, what is it that the Four Seasons is doing that would make you say to me, I love my job? And without skipping a beat, Noah said, throughout the day, managers will walk past me and ask me how I'm doing, if there's anything that I need to do my job better. He said, not just my manager, any manager. And then he said something magical. He says, I also work at Caesar's Palace. And at Caesar's Palace, the managers are trying to make sure we're doing everything right. They catch us when we do things wrong. He says, when I go to work there, I like to keep my head under the radar and just get through the day so I can get my paycheck. He says,
watch what eggs do to your brain. Take a look at these two brain scans. They both look.
He says, here at the Four Seasons, I feel I can be myself. Same person, entirely different experience from the customer who will engage with Noah. So we in leadership are always criticizing the people. We're always saying, we got to get the right people on the bus. I've got to fill my team. I got to get the right people. But the reality is, it's not the people. It's the leadership. If we create the right environment, we will get people like Noah at the Four Seasons. If we create the wrong environment, we will get people like Noah at Caesar's Palace. It's not the people. And yet we're so quick to hire and fire. You can't hire and fire your children. If your kids are struggling, we don't say, you got to see at school, you're up for adoption. So why is it that when somebody has performance problems at work, why is it that our instinct is to say, you're out? We do not practice empathy. What does empathy look like? Here's the lack of empathy. This is normal in our business world. You walk into someone's office, someone walks into our office and says, your numbers have been down for the third quarter in a row. You have to pick up your numbers, otherwise I can't guarantee what the future will look like. How inspired do you think that person is to come to work the next day? Here's what empathy looks like. You walk into someone's office, someone walks into your office and says, your numbers are down for the third quarter in a row. Are you okay? I'm worried about you. What's going on? We all have performance issues. Maybe someone's kid is sick. Maybe they're having problems in their marriage. Maybe one of their parents is dying. We don't know what's going on in their lives. And of course it will affect performance at work. Empathy is being concerned about the human being, not just their output. We have, for some reason, our work world has changed over the past 20 and 30 years. We are suffering the side effects of business theories left over from the 80s and 90s. And they are bad for people, and they are bad for business. Let me give you an example. The concept of shareholder supremacy was a theory proposed in the late 1970s. It was popularized in the 80s and 90s. It is now standard form today. You talk to any public company and you ask them their priority and they say maximize shareholder value. Really? That's like a coach prioritizing the needs of the fans over the needs of the players. How are you going to build a winning team with that model? But that's normal today. We don't even perceive it as broken or damaged or wrong or outdated. Remember, the 80s and 90s were boom years with relative peace and a kinder, gentler Cold War. Nobody was practicing hiding under their desks in school anymore. We are no longer in those times. These are no longer boom years. These are no longer peaceful times, and those models cannot work today. Here's another one: mass layoffs. Using someone's livelihood to balance the books, right? It's so normal in America today that we don't even understand how broken and how damaging it is, not only to human beings, but to business. You know, companies talk about how they want to build trust and cooperation, and they announce a round of layoffs. Do you know the quickest way to destroy trust and destroy cooperation in a business, literally in one day? Lay people off, and everyone gets scared. Right? Can you imagine sending someone home to say, honey, I can no longer provide for our family because the company missed its arbitrary projections this year? And forget about the people who lost their job. Think about the people who kept their jobs. Because every single decision a company makes is a piece of communication. And the company has just communicated to everybody else, this is not a meritocracy. We don't care how hard you work or how long you've worked here.
Sorry, for time's sake, I'm just gonna end that there, but I want to know everybody's thoughts on that. So what did you take away from this, between the differences between a manager and a leader?
A leader cares about their people.
Right.
We actually had something similar to what he said happen with one of our operators. She was just off and we were getting complaints left and right. Most other companies would have given her her walking papers, but we sat down and we had a conversation with her. And in having that conversation, this really hard, stoic woman cried, and it doesn't happen. And we
Right.
found out there was so much that we didn't know in the background. And now, after implementing some changes to help her, she has started to make a huge turnaround.
Excellent. Jackie?
I guess the one thing that really stood out was the empathy is about actually caring and not just caring about their like someone's output, what they can do. That really resonated with me.
Okay, excellent. So there's some comments here. The way you lead people gets the end result. If you lead with respect and positivity, you get a better result. Managers manage process, leaders lead people. I love that. I have I did this exercise. I was provided a business coach a while back, and one of the first things that this was as I was transitioning from a manager to a director role. And there are true differences. So I encourage you to kind of look into it as well. So management versus leadership, a manager is the head of the team. Leadership, you're part of the team. Management gives directions. Leadership asks questions. Management conveys order with higher ups, and the leadership brainstorms with teams. A manager instructs, and a leader inspires. Manager follows rules, and leaders reinvent rules. Managers give orders, leadership gives autonomy. Management gives or is an authority, leadership is an ally. Managers focus on the day-to-day, leaders imagine the long term. Managers have confidence in their roles, and leadership has confidence in their teams. Managers are the ones in charge, leaders are the ones leading the change. Managers assign the responsibility, and leaders intrinsic responsibility. Managers, it's a title. Leaders is a choice. Manager is power. Leaders is influence. And this can go on. There's many different graphs and charts that you can review. Audrey had put here, a manager focuses on planning, organizing, and maintaining structure, making sure tasks are completed efficiently. A leader focuses on inspiring, guiding, and motivating people, creating vision, trust, and growth. And to move on. Sorry, Jackie, do you have another question or comments? No, okay. So now what I want you to do as your takeaway, I want you to write down, and then we'll kind of wrap this up in a few minutes here. But what is your strongest leadership attribute? What's one leadership style you want to develop? One action that you will take in the next month to grow as a leader, and who can support you through this process? And then I'm going to get a few of you, if you are willing to, I would love to hear you shares.
While people are thinking about this, Jen, I want to be respectful of your time as well. But the next thing that we're going into is just a CAMX update with me. So feel free to take, an extra 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, because I can be quick with mine and this is invaluable. So
excellent. We have one more slide after this one. So and if you're finished and you'd be willing to share, so I think once we say it out loud or we type it in the chat, whatever you feel more comfortable with, kind of makes it become reality as well. So Brooke, are you done? No? Okay. I don't want to pick on anyone, but so your strongest leadership attributes?
I could go with it.
Sure, go ahead.
So I wrote that would be coaching my strongest because I really love guiding and supporting others. So that would be my strongest leadership attribute, I think. One leadership style that I would like to develop would be the democratic, like involve the team more and ask for feedback. So it goes with the third question about what action I will take. Maybe ask feedback more from the person of the team. And who can help me with that? Well, I know that I have a lot of support at I-24, so team leaders or people from the training team. So yeah, that would be that for me.
Excellent. Thank you, Audrey, for sharing. And we have here, so Ryan, so you've said pace setting is your strongest. You want to develop more on your coaching, and some actions that you can work on is show instead of doing, and your fellow team leads and managers can help support you through that. So that's great. Jump in if anybody wants to just jump in and say it. Otherwise, I can read it. But Jackie, so you think empathy is your strongest attribute, which is great. Leadership style you want to develop on is your coaching. And some action you can take is trying to get them to find the answers rather than giving them the answers. So that's good. That was one of my weaknesses at the beginning. It was easier to just kind of give the answer instead of walking through and coaching them. So, and your entire supervisory and management team can help you through this. That's great. Nicholas, so active listening to people, listening to understand, not just to respond. It's a great attribute. Leadership style you want to develop is your commanding. So one action you can take over the next month is step outside of your comfort zone and practice being more assertive and directive from when a situation requires it. So that's great. And your operations manager can help you through that. When I first started as a manager, I actually went to assertiveness training. And one of the things I challenge you is because you've obviously identified it's something you need to work on. And they said just put like a little sticker on the back of your phone or something. And that was always like a reminder of so when you would look at it, you'd be like, okay, I need to be more assertive or whatever the case may be. So it's a little takeaway you can have there. So Megan, so strongest is calm in chaos. That's great in this industry. You want to develop in coaching, and some actions is more delegating. And Autumn's going to support you. So there you go, Autumn. She's put it right in here for everyone to see. So Stephanie, so strongest attribute is giving orders and knowing what to do under pressure. Stephanie works for our team here, and she's definitely good at that, so I can agree. I really need to work on my empathy. I come across as a drill sergeant sometimes and want people to know I do care more. So excellent. I'll help you keep you accountable for that one. Florence, my strongest leadership attribute is my empathy for everyone, the way I can explain to agents the situation that happens and the fact that I truly care about their wellness. So those are sometimes hard to come by. So that's a great attributes. Remote 31. Kindness, would like to be further coached to become a better and help others. All my leaders are amazing and helpful always. Excellent. Lynn, empathy and listening is your strongest, and you want to develop on coaching. And one of your actions is how to handle difficult conversations. So, and your fellow team leads and can support you through that. If you have a really good leader, they can help you show you, do some role playing, then walk you through it where you've witnessed it, and then you can kind of have those conversations with them, observing and giving you feedback. So, Brooke, strongest is commanding. I'm good in the chaos. That's amazing. Develop coaching. I tend to just give them what they are looking for and not showing or active listening. So I think that's easier, especially in the chaos. I think that just comes naturally because it's easier to quickly give those answers than kind of coach or develop them through that. So action is empathy. Sometimes my face tells it all. I'm sure there's a lot of us like that. So my fellow team leads, Lynn and Mary. So Lynn and Mary are on the call, and they can keep you accountable to that as well. So Mary, ideas and empathy, how to lead with confidence, practice the confidence, and my wonderful team leads. Excellence. That comes with time too. Devon, I would like to think that my strongest is empathy in situations. I would like to develop my coaching as I tend to stick to the analytics of it and how to fix it. And I'm working on the human side from a better balance. So that's great. Erica, some development things probably coming from this as well for future coach use. I've been watching online coaching sessions. That's great. That have good balance instead of those that fall more on the one side and others. Preston. So one of the things that I've learned throughout my career in the last 22 years is we're a very sharing industry, so it's great. We learn from each other. Many of you might be on the supervisor. I don't know if this is something part of Coach U, but there is a supervisor listserv where you can reach out and ask questions to many different people like yourselves throughout the industry that can help with you. But definitely learn from here, and then also take like some of the examples that I gave to you today through videos is not call center related, but you could take something from that and apply it to your everyday work. So I want to give all of you that participated, whether it be through chat or through, speaking up and sharing, whether it be your insight, your stories. So thank you. This helped make the presentation today. So kudos to all of you. I hope you had some takeaways from there. And I encourage you to always give kudos to your team in meetings or anything like that, because that goes a long way and it makes you feel good. Some key takeaways I hope from today is leadership is about inspiring, supporting, and developing others. There's different styles that suit different situations, and adaptability is key. Be self-aware and continuously learning are essential to your growth in your roles. Whether you grow within the organization or you grow and you move on to something different, but that is definitely huge for your career and your path that you choose to go. Recognition and encouragement, it builds strong teams. So, and the other part is that understanding the why. So I hope you can take some of those things and apply them to when you are coaching your staff. I've put my email address here. I'm always willing to share or answer questions. So if you've attended a coach here before, you may have heard me speak, or you might hear me speak in the future. So feel free to reach out and ask any questions if you're just looking for some insights. So I hope you learned something today and you have some takeaways. It was a pleasure working with you, getting to know you guys a little bit better, and you guys sharing your experiences and your ideas and feedback as well. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Jen, thank you so much.
No
Round of
problem.
applause for Jen. I have some people in the comments asking if they can take screenshots of your presentations, etc.
Yep.
If you're comfortable with sharing your slide deck.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
you can send that to me, Jen, and along with the management versus leadership chart that you had, can you do that as well?
Yep.
You're asking for that.
Yeah.
And then
I
I'll
think
share it with the group.
Nicholas put it in the chat too. So
Yeah, and I can share that all with the group so you guys have it for reference. We did go a little bit over time, but like I said, what we're doing next is just coming together. One of the things that we're trying to do with CAMX is we're all about transparency right now and letting you guys know what we have in store and what we're doing, and we want input from you. So let's take a little couple-minute break just to get ourselves sorted. We'll come back with the next link. I'll share some updates from CAMX. It'll be 15-20 minutes, and then we'll be off for the day. Jen, again, thank you so much. You are inspiring, and we love you. And we'll
no
see you
problem.
guys all in a couple
Thanks,
minutes.
guys. Take care. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.